don't know if I've done a good job emphasizing the importance of thinking about reality. Buddha didn't call his teachings reality lightly, I'm sure. I think we can always be questioning reality. What strikes me today as I bring a heart of gratitude to this practice and 2,600 years of teachings is grateful for the thoroughness at investigating reality. It's unflinching, dogged, looking at every corner, inclusive, looking at everything. Without judgment, with judgment, a combination of two, without either. With the mind, with a bare minimal mind, with slightly more elaborated mind, upside down, over the top, underneath, straight through, darkness and in light, in awe of the thoroughness of our foregoers. It's inspiring. The question my teacher loved to answer, my first teacher loved to answer the most was, is this reality or is this reality? In other words, when I breathe in, my belly goes out. When I breathe out, my belly goes in. Which one's the reality? Am I breathing in or am I breathing out? Have you noticed that before? The mind is at paradox with what the body is doing. Neither is right or wrong. It's an observation from a point of view. One which requires us to notice the mind and the body are not the same. Something fundamentally different about the mind. Something fundamentally different about the body. They each have a valid voice, a valid perspective. Our very first insight in my tradition is to be able to distinguish between the mind and the body. Call it Namarupa, Paricheda, Jnana, insight into the division or separation between mind and body. They're not the same. So even when we name the hindrances, we name the bodily experience of fatigue and we name a mental experience of fatigue, and they have different remedies. Some phenomena are mind generated but bodily continued, and some are bodily generated and mind continued. And there's every variation in between. And unwinding all this is fun and incredibly insightful. can turn you into a good teacher for yourself and others. It's still just a stage, preliminary stage. Been reflecting on the teachings of the word Bhumi, realms of becoming. We're in a realm of becoming for the human world right now. But as meditators, we live in realms of becoming as well. There's a realm of becoming, developing knowledge around the body, acknowledging that this is just a limited body, a limited time span on earth. I have some responsibility to acknowledge the fact and science of the body and its needs. There's an incredible enlightenment in becoming aware, mindful of the body. We have a whole foundation around that foundation of awareness. We think we're skillful at taking care of ourselves until we commit to a meditation practice. I think we're skillful at taking care of our body until we really become aware of it. Same for the mind. And the mind and the body inhabit a shared space as well. When images of the body disappear in meditation, we realize the body doesn't know itself as a physical body. It sees, experiences something completely different. The breath comes from many channels. It feels like it's flowing in from the skin and the knees. Body doesn't know lungs. It just knows access to refreshment in all places and stress. And a good meditator begins there. That's where I'm beginning today. Thank you for this prelude and your patience. Let's take a deep breath, filling up every corner and crevice. One stage is just to breathe from everywhere. The way to begin a meditation is just to allow sensory impact of the breath to be everywhere. Breathe in through the feet, the skin, everywhere, all at once. There's a transformation that happens when we become, I call this energetics. We become energized everywhere. And there's a lung in every cell, in every sensory impact. It's breathing in and out. The obstacle is in the mind, not in the body. The body's ready to breathe everywhere, to feel refreshed. The mind holds and hovers and grabs the cover. And it's just a relaxation response right into the body, like melting of the walls, internal walls everywhere inside. So suddenly, a true breath can be breathed, in which everything's a lung, everything can be released, nothing holding back from the universe. It's a full trust and reception in the universal breath and the universal release. Some of the deepest insights can be just allowing everything to let go and to trust it'll return. The body doesn't know skin, it knows sensation. There's no difference between, there's no depth, there's no surface. Presence is everywhere. Skin is just an imaginary obstacle to feeling presence. Of course, when I say the word skin, it'll evoke that concept of a barrier. No inner or outer barriers in the sensory field. Take a look. There's a stage of what I call uniformity that we're looking for, where there's no clumping, no resisting, there's no non-release left. Everything starts to feel the same everywhere, the same universal vibrational purr. It's the same everywhere at every point in the universe. Touching you truly universal and dharmic layer of sensation. We do it all day long. We're constantly aware of it. This is making that, bringing the background into the foreground. It's not unique to notice that. Great teachers before the Buddha noticed that. But then Buddha noticed something very powerful here. I hope you're with me. This universal vibrational purr. It's timeless, borderless. It's the way in which we connect with all beings, through time and space. It's a way of cleansing ego, selfing structures. It's effective. But the Buddha saw something quite unique here. There's a inherent concentration power here. There's no, in this uniformity of vibration, there's no ground, there's nothing separate to land on. The experience itself is the ground, the depth of this presence. So karmic residues of worries from this morning or planning, they'll arise, but they'll dissipate into this vibrational background. Images of the body, this voice, this room, memories, labels will all dislocate, de-reify, de-thingify. And in so doing, they're cleansed and the mind is cleansed. It's like taking a bath. This alone is worthy insight, worthy of a minute of your time or a day. So patterns, and we all have them, towards desire or anger, fatigue or restlessness, doubt, overthinking. They'll appear within this field of awareness and they'll shimmer and shake and disappear. There'll be no identification left with them. It's a way in which we learn to see outside of our selfing structures. And we open up an experience of reality and see reality is not just something we're subject to, but it's something we're creating. Our patterns and karmas and forms. It's a contract or an agreement to perpetuate patterns. It's like the architect in the Matrix being able to create new code. We all have it. It's not sci-fi. We fix things in Buddhism before they happen. We tamper with the code. But it's experiential. It's something you feel in the moment. It comes from a quiet stillness and then assurance in our own goodness. There's value in pleasurable, blissful aspects of this vibrational purr. And it's worthy to rest the mind, the spaciousness and luxury of openness, feeling the access to light everywhere. So glow of clarity. The mind is concentrated by the inherent energy and lightfulness of this presence. It's magneticized, drawn in. It's a trap for the monkey mind. So we lay our traps for monkey mind through openness, not closure. The monkey's not trapped. So fascinated by, doesn't need to put its hand in a trap anymore. Nothing missing. Experience of the full breath that never leaves, even on the experience of an out breath. Look to that. How can an out breath just be as filling as the in breath? Be keen with your observations this morning. I'll leave you in silence. Investigate reality. Be thorough. Teach others what your conclusions are. This point, try noticing tension building from meditating and release it. Maybe some invisible form or pattern is on repeat. And relax and dissolve. So those patterns can be visible. Oh. Hmm. How are you? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Uh, I curious if you took up the task of investigating reality with me today. Um, I think it's a very compassionate thing to do. Let me see if I can give an example. From my experience of instead of noticing a daydream and saying labeling it as bad and going back to some other place in your awareness, it's well, what's the reality of the daydream? It can't be all unreal. There's the images, there's maybe an impulse or desire. Maybe what's behind the daydream in the meditation is a desire to be loved, something beautiful. What if you opened up to that and experienced that desire to be loved rather than creating a daydream to feed yourself that desire? What if you just acknowledged that, felt that? What would happen to the daydream? To me, that's a very compassionate way to approach meditation. Um, and it's very wise as well. Um, might be a hollowness there, might be that just the labeling that you don't have something and you need to have it through a daydream or something like that. And then just letting yourself see that and feel that and experience that is really powerful. I mean, something moved the Buddha to cross that barrier from Sankara to Dhamma, from seeing things as made up and fabricated to seeing a completely different layer to reality. I think he's telling us he saw a multiverse in his meditational world. And this is just one example of that multiverse. And whatever collection of greed, anger, and desire any human being has is constantly creating a new multiverse for this reality. But underneath all that, there's also an absence of greed, anger, and delusion, kind of stillness, a layer of Dhamma, a layer of reality beyond that active fabricating layer. And I just feel very grateful that he just didn't stop. Oh, reality is emptiness, or reality is nothingness, or reality is infinity. Reality is confined to this thought that it's it's an investigation and it's ultimately experiential. And we all like, and the inspiration is to take up that task. I think that's what really touches me about this experience together. Mm. So I find myself not wanting a certain reality that a certain politician is pushing on me right now. It's also an experience of kind of like falling into reality versus kind of being the wave itself that's falling. Always trying to get ahead of things, the next reality to plan and focus, and it's our energies. And it was a completely different experience. I think when I was talking about kind of the architect and the matrix, I think it's something that's really important to be pointed to. And I think a lot of meditation teachers don't really, I don't think we point to it enough. A lot of people feel that in the stillness of their mind, that we really can trust ourselves to be the architects of those zeros and ones inside of us. Um, that can tinker with that code. We don't, you know, have to be on the edge of the wave falling into reality. We can be behind it a little bit. It's hard to, I think it's one way of looking at the second noble truth in that way, that causation instead of like causes, and that the reason I'm here is because, you know, I got up this morning, had an intention to come, and prepared to come, made plans to come, and arrived. Like every, not that type of thing in the mind. There's just a set of complex energies leading things into the next moment, and can actually, you know, sort of non-judgmentally, sort of just be with that space of causation, and sort of remove and add things into that space. And the practice of wholesome mind, of like practicing metta and compassion and things like that, is kind of, initially it feels like you're on the surface, you know, you're just trying dropping a few drops on a plant. But you know, it eventually works its way into the plant and becomes the plant. And so we're constantly seeing the inside of things in every meditation. Get, we become the meditation. I don't know, those were a few of my thoughts from about reality that I wanted to share today. Does anyone have anything else that came to mind?
It's a very timely meditation. Working, just trying to abide in the senses and seeing, yeah, that is reality. experiencing reality entirely through the senses instead of thought.
Mhm.
That was really, great meditation today for that. Thank you.
I found that to be one of my greatest lessons in life. It feels like boring. Why am I meditating? I guess to some people, but to me, it's like the greatest gift just to abide in sensation without thought. To me, it's like the greatest. It's like I always think of that king with the was it the Buddha? No, 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 no. It was a monk who came across a monk in the forest who was a former king, and he was like, what bliss, what bliss, what bliss. It's like, oh my God. He says, I don't have to worry about waging war on armies, training my men, building my walls. I don't have to worry about my wives, my children. It's like, no worries. I just abide in presence. Like, not just worries, but just no thought, just empty of all that. Like, what a luxury.
It's bliss.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. It's really, really cleansing. I was trying to point to that today. It's kind of hard, but patterns kind of defragment from the mind, and you kind of all of a sudden notice a kind of track that you were on. And it's almost hard to label. You just feel it at a deep sensory level, and it'll kind of vibrate and disappear and unravel, and you'll kind of go back to that fullness of the experience, and things come and go like that. Come and go from, you can call it source, you can call it anything you want, but it's real. It's really powerful and real. It's a fundamental, it's one of the multiverses. It really is. How are you, Julie? Good.
Actually, during the meditation, all of a sudden saw myself, and I think it's because of the matrix thing you brought up.
You know what? I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna